Welcome to the Ranchonomics Podcast, where we empower you to build a better ranch and transform your operations into a thriving business. I'm your host, John Haskell. Let's get started. Welcome to the Ranchonomics Podcast. I am here today with my good friend Wally Olson and Eli Hopping. Eli, welcome to the podcast.
It's good to be on here. I'm Eli Hopping. I'm from northeastern Oklahoma, Wagner to be specific. I'm an order buyer, and my family also runs yearlings and runs cows too.
All right. Now, Eli, we don't ask this of many of our guests, and I'm certainly not going to ask this of Olson's because I don't think anybody can count that high, but how old are you?
I'm 16 years old. I just got my driver's license.
16 years old. That's pretty awesome. Wally, how did we meet Eli?
We've just known Eli, and how do I know people? I don't know. I just know them, and I've known Eli's dad and his uncle, and it's just been a good time.
Yep, and your Uncle Hoss and your dad Joe, pretty involved in the cattle business. Been around Bud Williams for quite a while. That's how I met him. Was I think through Wally and Bud, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. Yeah, I think we met at a Bud Summit while Bud was still alive, maybe in 2010 or so. When did you have one in Veneta, Wally?
I don't remember.
It was a while back.
Yeah.
Turns out. Anyway, good. So let's talk about the cattle buying business. We've got a few things. One, I'm picking on your age just a little here, or emphasizing your age, because I want to talk a little about how you got into the cattle buying business and maybe why. So if you wouldn't mind talking about that, that would be great. And if you want to just kind of start, we'll ask you questions as we go.
Well, I started at a young age. My dad's the auctioneer at Tahlequah on Saturdays, and he's taken me over there ever since I was a little kid. I kind of fell in love with it, and as I got older, my dad kind of taught me what to buy and what to look for, and as I've gotten older, a few years ago, him and my uncle, they started letting me buy cattle for him, and then I've picked up a few customers on the way, and then about a year and a half ago, I started buying cattle for Wally, and so I'm kind of built a customer base.
Love it. And again, what do you find when you're getting started in this business? What does a person need to know, or why? Let's do why would you get started first, and then we'll get back into what do you need to know and that sort of thing. What is this just something you loved? Buying cattle is your favorite thing, or tell me more.
Yes, I love cattle, and I love to go to the sale barn and buy them, and I just like to own them or buy them for somebody.
Yeah, good. Doesn't require a driver's license to be able to buy them, right?
No, my dad and my mom and my uncle, they've taken me up there. Whenever I wanted to go, they'd take me, and they'd usually take me up there and drop me off, and then I'd call them and tell them when to come get me, and they'd usually come pick me up.
I love it. And the sale barn will let you bid as long as the check clears, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. Excellent. What do you kind of need to be able to know, or what do you need to do to get started in this deal?
Well, it helps if you know a few people. I mean, it does help if you kind of know what you're doing, and if you kind of have somebody, if you have heroes, and if you look up to somebody that buys the kind of cattle you like, it's good to watch them also, see how they buy them and how they do business.
Excellent. What kind of cattle do you buy?
I buy a lot of number 1 and number 1.5 cattle that over time that will upgrade and turn into better cattle. A lot of light grades and heifers weighing 350 to 5. I buy all classes, but I buy some cows too, any types of cows, but I can buy all classes.
Good. And your dad and uncle, that's kind of what they run, right? Sort of a South Plains mix?
Yes, sir. A lot of lighter weight steers and bulls, and then we turn out several young grazing cows that we later resell.
Yeah, good. And what does it take to get customers?
I don't know. I don't have a whole lot, so.
No, but you have to be able to prove to them you know what you're doing, I guess, right?
That's exactly
right. First of all, you got to get a chance.
Right.
If you're at the sale barn, and some people, they watch, they see what you're doing, and then they've just watched me buy cattle for my dad and my uncle, and a few of them have called me and asked them if I'd buy them a few. So, and then eventually you get to rolling, I guess.
Yeah, good. It's a momentum thing, right? Once you have a few, then it's not too hard to get a few more, is it?
You got to pay your dues, and I'd say Eli has paid his dues. So
How long you been doing it now?
Kind of my whole life, but I really got into it when I was probably 8 or 9, and usually I watched cow sales every day. I used to get up at, like, when Joplin, they start early in the morning usually, so I'd get up whenever they started, and I watch it all day, every day. I'd watch reruns if there's not a sale that day. I usually watch reruns. I just love
Ah,
cow.
all
So
right, pretty good.
I've studied it a long time.
Yeah, good. And do you take a bid sheet with you, or how do you sort of organize yourself when you go to the sale?
A lot of times when I have orders, they'll give me a bid sheet, and I kinda work on that. My dad and uncle, they don't really tell me what to give for them. They just kind of tell me whatever I kinda think's worth the money, they tell me just kinda buy it.
Yeah. Okay, good. And then, yeah, so until you had your license, then you had to get a ride to and from, right?
Yes, sir.
The most inconvenient part, I guess. And then you got to be able to write the checks for the cattle that you do buy. And then I assume chase around your customers for their checks.
Or usually with the customers I do buy cattle for, usually I build them out at the sale barn, so that usually they pay the sale barn, and I put my commission on there at the sale barn. Is usually how I do it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And are you a high school dropout? What's your school program look like? How do you get to go to the sale?
Well, I still go to I'm still in school, but
Oh, good.
most Mondays we go one Monday each month. But usually I skip that Monday and I do go to sale. But as far as that, the rest of the Mondays we go 4 days a week on most weeks. So that's how I'm able to go to a sale on Monday. Then I go to a sale on a weekend. I go to Tahlequah on Saturday and Tulsa on Monday.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. And yeah, 4-day school week. So our 4-day is Monday through Thursday, and yours is Tuesday through Friday, which is
Yes,
interesting.
sir.
Is that because of the sale? Did you have a vote in that, or was it just that way?
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty important.
Good to know. I like it. What do you feel like if we think about a kid your age and the things that you could be learning, whether you're in school or at work or working on the ranch or whatever, what do you feel like you're learning while you're buying?
Learning how to do business and learning how to think fast it's pretty fast game when you're at the sale barn buying cattle.
Yes.
You got to look them over, and then they're going up numbers pretty fast. So you kind of got to calculate what they're costing, and then you got to make a decision.
Good. You're pretty comfortable with math, I presume?
Yes, sir. I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Good. You can do all that in your head?
I can get close. Might not
Yeah.
be exact, but I can get close enough.
Okay. Do you have any math tricks you use so you can calculate fast and keep up with the auctioneer?
I just kind of round about and kind of get close enough, and then you can just go up or down.
Very good. When you're looking at the cattle as they're in the ring, is there anything you're looking at? Do you have a process there? You just kind of get an overall feel? Do you start at the head and work back, or feet and work up, or what do you like to
Yeah,
do?
usually I like to see what they look like. I like to get a good look at them when they're coming in. I like to look at their head. I really like to look at their eyes because usually you can kind of tell how they're feeling by their eyes, and then I kind of look at their feet and the rest of their body.
Yeah, good. A lot of folks make New Year's resolutions. Eat better, work out more, get organized. But if you're running a ranch, the best resolution you can make this year is to finally get your numbers in order. At RanchRite, we build financial systems that make sense for real ranch operations. Bookkeeping, reporting, and strategy that work in the real world. Make this the year you stop guessing and start managing with clarity. Learn more at ranchritellc.com. And are most of what you're buying, I assume down there, you're buying a lot of 1s and 2s and 3s, or are you buying big groups?
Yes, I buy a lot of. There's lots of small groups, 4 or 5, and then they have bigger groups.
Yeah. And then how about, again, as you're tracking, through the course of the day, how are you keeping track of what you bought already, how much you have to spend, what more you need, that sort of thing?
Usually they add buyer cards, and Usually I write everyone down I've bought. I usually write it down on a buyer card, and usually they tell me how many I'm supposed to buy. They just usually tell me fill the truck. So I kind of usually you can, if you have 350-pound heifers, usually you can put 120 of them on there. And so I just kind of keep track, and then later on in the day I get a recap, and it usually tells me how much weight and what they cost, and I kind of go from that.
Yeah, good. We had the opportunity to hang out for a little bit this summer. Wally, do you want to talk about that? Because when we were shipping calves, most of which you had bought for us out of Kansas, you came on up. Wally, why don't you talk about that?
Eli was there when we shipped them, so we could show him out what we didn't want and what we wanted, and we discovered that what I didn't want was still acceptable, and I was poking at Eli about a calf heifer that he had bought that wasn't going to go on the truck, and shazam, she went on the truck. So I just humbled myself up. So just let Eli buy what he wants to pretty much buy. He does a very good job.
What's that saying about the crow that you have to eat? Do it
Yep,
beak
you got to
first,
make
right?
sure you eat crow head first, because if you eat it the other way, the feathers will catch. So.
Good. That's the joy. That's the joy of dealing with Jason as a buyer. Is he takes them. He's not world's pickiest sorter. He knows what they are, and he's kind on both sides. So
And that's one thing everybody needs to realize in this business. Eli understands what we're looking for in quality of cattle, and he buys exactly that quality of cattle. They are not number ones, but they're not number twos or threes. They're just very good cattle that we can upgrade. And then you got to understand, who you can sell those cattle to. So in this business, you just need to know where you're playing and play there.
yep. And that's one that I'm assuming you've gotten to do a lot with your dad and uncle, where you can, when you buy these, especially like peewee heifers, right, that are kind of fixer uppers. When you're selling those at 800 pounds, they don't look anything like what you bought, right? So having a good understanding of what the potential of a calf is
Yes,
pretty
sir.
important.
I've had quite a bit of practice on my own family's cattle, so I
Good,
feel like I have a good eye for them.
good. And so you probably weren't terribly surprised when you saw our stalkers up in Kansas and saw what they looked like.
No, that's kind of how I thought how they'd kind of end up looking.
And what was that? About 6 months between the time we bought them and the time we sold them. It was a pretty good while.
Yeah, I think it was about November when I bought them.
Okay.
November, or probably, yeah, November. Then I guess was it July, probably?
Yeah, August even. Yeah,
August.
more like 8 or 9 months. Yeah, good. All right, that's fantastic. Wally, what else?
Well, basically, one thing with doing this podcast, I want people to realize that you don't have to be age doesn't matter as long as you do a good job, in my opinion.
I totally agree with that.
And Eli does a good job.
One thing you taught me a long time ago is this idea of we talked about, sort of knowing what the cattle look like when they're going to sell. But you've also done a lot of deals where you buy them with one person and sell them with the same person, right? The same person that buys them for you might rep them on the way out, right? Or at least be willing to. Is that kind of how you like to do that?
Yes, I would. When you buy them from the same person, sell them to the same person, they know exactly what they're getting, or they can't whine about what they're getting back, huh?
Right.
And so Eli's getting ready to go to the next level here sometime. Not to put any pressure on you, Eli.
No, I'm
You're
hoping to
saying
get
now
there.
he needs to be repping them on the other end. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
I like it.
and we're probably 2 or 3 weeks from that, huh, Eli? So we'll be there in a minute.
When you're not buying cattle, Eli, what do you like to do?
I like to play baseball. I play quite a bit of baseball during the spring and summer. Then also not a big fisherman, but I like to go fishing when they're catching fish. Then I always love messing with cattle, so that makes up a big part of my time.
Good. I love it. And you think you're going to do this for a long time, or you think this is something you do for a while and then go do something else?
Well, the way it's looking, this looks like what I want to do for quite a while right now.
Good. Can a person make a living buying and selling cattle?
I think so. There's several people who've been in the business for a long time, and they're still doing it. So
Yeah, love it. And do you own cattle of your own too, or do you just just buy them?
No, I also run cattle of my own. My dad and uncle, they kind of let me run mine with theirs, and they keep a pasture or two open for me and my brother. We usually try to buy something, kind of go together. And
Yeah,
I
good.
buy the same type of quality as my dad and uncle, so I kind of get the same ones. Just whenever I'm ready to buy them, I just buy what
Yeah,
I would
awesome.
everybody else.
Good. And one last thing I should ask you is what do you charge and how do you charge? You mentioned that you put your commission on the ticket. How do you figure what to charge?
Usually, I charge $5 a head if they're weighing under 5, and then usually I on the calves and yearlings, and then if they're weighing over 5 over, I usually charge $1.00, and then I get more on the cows. I get $20 a head on a cow because there's just not as many cows, and you gotta have kind of a better eye as far as buying a cow. I think, in my opinion,
$20 a cow right now on a five
it's
thousand
really
dollar
not. It's
cow. It's
really
not
not
that
that
much.
much if you're doing if looking at the percent.
It's a lot more when it's a $900 cow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Very good. Cool. All right. Anything else? Anything we should ask you? Anything you want to tell the wider world?
The only thing I would state is I feel guilty about, or I shouldn't say I feel guilty. Greedy Olson saying, we're going to put Eli Hopping out there, and he is a very good buyer, and now an old elderly guy is going to get pushed out of the market. That's what I worried. No, I'm
I
not
never said
worried.
we were giving out his phone number. That's
Yeah, yeah. We'll make the last two digits wrong. So, but I wish you all the luck in the world, Eli Hopping, because you do a good job.
Well, thank you. I try my best and
You do
try to
try
be the
your
most honest
best.
I can.
well, that counts. That matters a lot. Cool. Well, it's great to have you here. Thank you, Eli. And since we're recording this in early December of 2025, has the market peaked? Are we on the way up? Are we on the way down? What's going to happen?
Well, it was quite a bit higher a month ago, but kind of took a dip.
Yeah.
It went back up this last week quite a bit. They probably put $15 or $20 a hundred on the board, and you can tell it. These cattle this week were probably, I know Tulsa was 20 to 25 higher, and then instances 50 higher on some of them. And the numbers, there's not as many numbers of cattle as there has been in years past. Like Tulsa, they had 2,000. Usually, they might have 3,000 this week. I just don't think there's not as many cattle as there used to be. So I think people are really going to be fighting over them this this spring. So I think it could get higher, in my opinion.
Okay. Do you think we'll break 380 on the board again?
I don't know about that. I think there's a possibility.
Okay. Well, I would agree with that. There is a possibility. Olson, you want to add any commentary there? I'm asking everybody this now just because it's.
Back when it was on the roll, I thought it could get to $4, but it did. That's the way it was looking.
Oh man, not very long ago we didn't think it'd break 280, but okay, certainly not $3. Now here we are at 320 or 330 now, whining about how it's down so much. So
What's interesting about my life with my father, he used to talk about how the market used to move, a dollar or a dollar and a half in a year. And now we move $40 or $50 in a week. So you just got learn how to do business here. And
I think 2 weeks in a row we did 1 week all the way down and 1 week all the way back up. Right?
yeah,
Keeps it exciting. Good. Well, Eli, thank you for joining us. Wally, thank you for suggesting this. I appreciate it. A couple of quick items of business here as we wrap up. I just want to make sure everybody's aware we have got our so we do our normal third Thursday of the month for our financial fundamentals of financials webinar. We have added the first Thursday of the month. We are doing a building a better business webinar. So join us for those. You can get more details on our website, Ranch Right LLC. We also have ranching.fyi is running a raffle to benefit the His Cabby Foundation. They are raffling off I believe, a seat at a class. Wally, is that correct? At a simulation
that's
class?
correct.
Proceeds go to benefit the His Cabby Foundation. You can look them up at hiscabbyfoundation.org. We have this podcast, obviously. If you would like, share and give us a review on that, that would be really good. FYI also has the Market Pulse on Monday mornings, where we talk about
7:30.
7:30 Central Time, 6:30 Mountain. Talk about sell-by marketing and that.
When we talk about anything.
Apparently, with about anybody, huh?
Yeah, with about anybody. We're
good. You need to be a member of FYI's forums there. That the elite forums cost $10 a month, and that gives you access to that, and also the financial Q&A session, which is on Wednesday afternoons. And then the last thing we have got coming up, our Ranch Right annual retreat. Wally and I are both going to be in Orange Beach, Alabama, the third week of February. You can find details out about that on our Ranch Right webpage, ranchrightllc.com. So look forward to visiting with you next week, talking about all things related to making a profitable ranch. So, Eli, thanks for joining us. You have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.
Yep, it's great to be on here.
You bet. Great to have you. Thanks, Wally. Thanks, Eli.
You bet.
Thank you for tuning into the Ranchnomics podcast. We hope this episode helped you win today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with a friend.